Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you to eXp Realty for sponsoring today's episode. Talent Finders would like to welcome author and coach Renee Reisch. So welcome, Renee.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much for having me here today.
So Renee, I'd like to congratulate you on all your achievements. Can you share with us how your coaching business and becoming an author started?
Well, it's not really a simple answer. I come from a corporate background, 25 years with one company, probably over 35 years total in the corporate world. And in 2013, I had an illness called viral pharyngitis that attacked my vocal cords and left me unable to speak and unable to be with the public for close to 4 months. It was a virus that literally attacked my vocal cords. I remember laying in the ER and I had a little voice left, and I asked the doctor if I was contagious, and he looks down at me and says, "You're highly contagious. You can't be with the public." So that was the beginning of a journey I never anticipated embarking upon. And it was a time of complete silence. I didn't have an option to speak or to whisper. And I was locked away in my 4 walls for such a long period of time. I fell into a deep depression because people out there who do know me know I'm a connector, and I love speaking and I love communicating, connecting with others. And to have that closed down like a ton of bricks upon you was something that was very devastating. And from that pain, it was about a year before I was able to get my full voice back. I had to go through extensive vocal coaching. It was once the doctors found out it wasn't permanent, and that was about the 3-month mark. Then there was the work in coming back to my voice, and about 3.5 months before I could come back into the corporate job I had. And as I said, close to a year to fully regain the use of my voice.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, what I had learned in that process, and actually I didn't learn until a few years later, that the physical loss of my voice manifested, I truly believe, from that metaphoric loss of my voice in life, for not speaking up for myself, for being that people pleaser, fear of judgment,
Yes.
fear of never being enough.
So you mentioned obviously that you worked in the corporate world for 25 years. So can you share with us more about that part of your journey and what made you decide to go on your own, and did working in the corporate environment help you?
Wow, loaded questions. Yes, and yes. So what the first part is, or one of the questions was, did that help me? It certainly did. It was a stepping stone, because in the corporate world, in that specific job, I was a coach. I was coaching and mentoring different teams that I was responsible for.
Yes.
So absolutely, it's part of my journey. And spending 25 years with that one company, and as I said, probably over 35 years in the corporate world, I was always working with other people. And in that one role, for the last 10 of the 25 years, I was coaching and mentoring and developing the teams, and it was working one-on-one with them, which helped them become, number one in each of many different categories that we were in: the district, the region, the company, and ultimately the country for that company I was working with. So it's really about connecting with people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, was focused on the team. I was focused on the individuals within the team.
Yes.
And that's what made them successful, because it was getting to know who they were and what motivated and inspired them. And then the team came together and was extremely successful. So yes, that position did definitely help me in what I'm doing now. What made me decide to leave and go out on my own wasn't my own decision. That was because the company took a different turn in 2017, and my position, quite frankly, ended.
Oh, okay. So it was almost a natural transition.
It was, and it wasn't right away, because I didn't know what I was going to do. It's not like, okay, that ended. I mean, I was there 25 years. It took a toll on me in a very emotional way, because I thought that's where I was going to be. I mean, 25 years with one company, it's a quarter of a century of my life. And then I was like, now what do I do? You know, what am I going to do with all of the information that I've learned and what I've worked for? So
Yes.
what I did do is I actually started going to apply for other positions in that kind of industry. And I wasn't able to get them. And, you know, a lot of people said, well, you can run this place. Why do you want to work here? I'm like, oh my gosh, all the greatness that I did in that one company was like, I had overachieved. And so other places weren't interested in hiring me. I'm like, I didn't know what to do with that. So I know when doors close, it's because there's a bigger and better one that's there for you. And what I did is took that information and all the knowledge I gained and was able to support others with, and took it into, you know, individual and group coaching, and specifically more for women, because I know as a woman, my own voice was stifled because I didn't feel I could speak up. It was that fear of judgment, not that somebody stifled it, it was my own.
Yes.
And it's many times it is our own, the stories that we tell ourselves based on things that have been told to us, that we make it our own story. We make it our own belief system that becomes a limiting belief system. And
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
yeah, so from that time in the corporate world, I really did learn about working with other people. And I worked with all different ages, from millennials to middle to older, every age under the sun I was working with, because I got to know and meet people where they were at and coach them from that space. It was never about me. It was always about the other, you know, the other person, the other teams that I was responsible for, because I knew that when I connected with them, they were going to succeed in their own life, which was ultimately going to help the business that we were working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So within that, what have been some of your biggest lessons and learnings within your career? And you probably had many, but what really stands out for you?
You know, Karen, it's really to never give up, not just on others, but first and foremost on yourself.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
my mom has always told me, where there is life, there is hope. And where there is breath, there is life. So as long as we're here, you know, in this world, and we're able to help inspire others, the first thing we want to do, like that oxygen mask, first put it on for yourself.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's not selfish, it's selfless. And like that saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Well, my
Yeah,
cup had been cracked into a million pieces when I was ill in 2017. And
yeah,
it was trying to put them back together. And thank God I had the help of my best friend, who is now one of my angels in heaven with my dad, who
mm,
was there for me to love me and to support me in ways that I didn't even know I needed, and
yeah,
to believe in me when I really didn't believe in myself.
absolutely. So you're obviously very passionate about women and supporting women, as you've mentioned in the previous question, and obviously volunteering your time to nonprofit organizations. So can you share with us more about this and what this has personally meant for you?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the first one I was with was Women Helping Women. It was a nonprofit organization where it was helping women find and keep their jobs. And actually, they act men too. So they just ended up calling it WHW, because it was for men too who had lost their employment. So, you know, helping to find and keep jobs. And I knew, because I was looking for one at the time, so I was able to give my time and my energy there while I was gaining more knowledge and wisdom on what I was going to be doing next. So
Yeah,
I was wearing the two hats as an instructor and as a student. And it's interesting because I ended up writing a book, and in it I wrote, I'm always going to be a student of life and a teacher in life, because
yeah,
I know the more that I learn, the more that I can help support others in their journey in their own lives. So that was a real special time. And then I became an ambassador for Chemo Buddies for Life, that no one should ever face cancer alone. And my dad transitioned in December of 2018. And I'm grateful I was able to be there for him and for my mom, because knowing that you have support in your life, no matter where you are in your life and what you're going through, it's really paramount to having a healing part of your journey to having that support and that love in your life. That 4-letter word is the best one I've ever heard of, is love.
Yeah,
And it's something that we all need and sometimes crave because we're missing it in different parts of our life. And to know that you have a support system means everything.
absolutely. So within that, what would you say some of your biggest career highlights have been?
I would say my work in the corporate world taught me about, working with other people and really helping them step up into their own power. I would say also my own journey in losing my voice was to find my voice, being silenced for 4 months, being isolated from the world for 4 months, falling into a deep depression and not knowing if I would ever come out of it, not wanting to live because I was so deep in it. And knowing that there is always a way out when you surround yourself and are surrounded with people who love and are supportive of you and are loving you through things. That's the biggest piece of all. I ended up writing that book I mentioned, Finding Your Voice, Unlock Your Chains and Unleash Your Greatness.
Yes.
The chains that we bound and bind ourselves up in are our own. The greatness we have within us is also our own. We push it down because we don't feel we're always so deserving of it. It's like, who am I to do this? And who am I to lead that? But we are leaders. And it's sometimes, what I believe, not sometimes, is always to give a hand up rather than a hand out. What I was
Yeah,
saying
absolutely. I agree with that.
is the sometimes portion is that sometimes we don't believe it because we don't believe in ourselves. And that's where I can step in, and where I do step in to help others find that voice from within. And I do run a coaching program. It's one-on-one coaching that I offer, or group coaching. And I've opened up slots for the rest of 2021. And I will certainly make room in 2022, because I know this is a very important part of your journey, is finding your voice to unlock those chains, to unleash your greatness. So I look forward to connecting with those women or those people who are needing to find their voice, not that they may have lost it physically and painfully like I did.
Yes.
I think sometimes we have to go through those tough times because we need to grow through those tough times to become the person and the leader we are first and foremost in our own life, so we can be the leader for others in theirs.
Absolutely. So I want to obviously touch on the coaching, or just dig a little bit deeper into the coaching as to what it is you offer, and what do you believe makes you different as a coach from other people? Because obviously the coaching industry is very competitive and there's a lot of people that are in the coaching world. So what would you say makes you different or unique from other people? And what is your core focus when it comes to your coaching for the audience members that don't know?
Yeah. So thank you for asking. So the first part is what makes me different. I'm going to tell you in a simple answer. It's me.
Yeah.
Me going through it. There's a lot, as you said, a lot of coaches out there. And I do transformational coaches because it's about, I equate it with the butterfly effect. So the butterfly, it starts out as an egg, like we all do. And then the butterfly is in this caterpillar stage, it's crawling around, trying to figure things out. And then it goes into this ooey gooey, mucky chrysalis. The chrysalis stage is where it gets developed and transformed, so it can then emerge as a butterfly. And that's where we go into that stage. The time that I was silenced and I was isolated for such a long period of time in the, in that, well, I was the corporate world in 2013. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know that I was going into this stage. I just knew I was thrust into it. And that is what makes me different, because I literally went through it physically, from the pain and the multitude and magnitude of sores that riddled my vocal cords, emotionally, because I was no longer able to be with my loved ones. So I was isolated from the world. And mentally, I know what it's like to go into that dark rabbit hole. Doctors couldn't help me, and I didn't know how to help myself. And I was in that deep, dark world of depression.
Yes.
And not knowing that this was the way my life was going to be. And I know what it means to not want to survive something.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wanted to literally leave. I didn't know. I didn't know what to do anymore. I felt there was no way out. And when I certainly believe in a higher power, and when God brings you to something and through something so painful, at the time you don't understand why. And I certainly did not. And I was not spiritual, so I can't say that I did this lovely inner work and I went within and did this journaling and affirmations. I wish I could tell people that. Every time I do an interview, I always say this because it's true. I really wish I could tell you how I did it and how it helped me. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It didn't help me because I wasn't in the space. Do I do it now? Absolutely. I
Yeah.
do affirmations. I do journaling. I am filled with gratitude. But then it was knowing that you have someone. There's a verse from Celine Dion from the song Because You Loved Me. And I know it by heart, so I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna sing it. I don't have the singing voice, but I do gratefully have a speaking voice. And it's, you were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see.
Yeah.
You saw the best there was in me, lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith because you believed. I'm everything I am because you loved me. And it was her faith and love and belief in me and being there for me when I wasn't able to be there for myself that brought me through that really difficult time in my life. And knowing that she was there for me. She would come up my stairs with a mask on pre-COVID. 2013 was way before COVID.
Yeah.
And she had a mask on and she would cook, kosher chicken for me. And she would bring in food that she thought I could swallow, like Jello or applesauce or something. It was hard to swallow my own saliva, quite frankly, but I knew that she wanted me to live and that the love behind everything was much greater than any pain I was enduring.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. So I want to reflect also on your speaking, and obviously you're a speaker. So was this a natural transition for you or extension of what you were already doing? Or did you find it quite challenging?
I think not challenging at all. I think natural transition from where I was because, I used to hold meetings. I was in charge of different things within the store and the role I was in. And so I was always somebody who was responsible for other people and speaking to teams. And also I was in charge of another role that I played in the corporate world, being responsible for rallies in the store rallies. So I spoke to a group in a whole store. So I was always able to speak confidently to other people because I believe in them. I have a strong belief and faith in other people. The biggest thing that when I was going through the loss in my voice was not believing in me. I had more faith in others than in me, but in order to help others fully, you've got to believe stronger, even stronger in yourself. And so my whole journey in losing my voice was to find my voice from within.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I believe, yeah, that's what it's about, helping others pull that out from within inside of them. Pull out that inner voice that sometimes stifles us, but it is also there for us.
Absolutely.
And to surround them with that courage and that faith. So what I did is I developed a voice blueprint.
Yeah.
And the V, and this is what I do in my coaching, and I walk women through this. So it's, and as I said, I certainly support men as well. So it's, the V is the vulnerability. O is owning your voice. I is igniting that flame from within and inspiration. C is courage and confidence. E is empowerment. So it's your V plus O plus I plus C equals the empowerment stage. And I walk you through this in a 90-day coaching that we embark upon. And I am there for you one-on-one to support you through that. And that is the biggest piece of finding your voice, is that voice from within and that courage and confidence and inspiration. But that first piece is that vulnerability, and to release those limiting beliefs, that limitations that are holding you back in your business and your life.
That's amazing, Renee. Thank you so much for sharing that. So that leads me to the last two questions. What are the three key pieces of advice you would give to other entrepreneurs? And what legacy would you like to leave, or how would you like to be remembered?
So it's never give up is the biggest piece. And that's the legacy, as well as one of the keys that I would say is, and to be you, and to trust the process, trust yourself, have faith.
I think that's the hardest thing for people is trust.
It is. It's trust is a two-factor trust. It's trusting yourself and believing in yourself.
Yes.
Trusting your decision-making process and believing that you are more than enough and capable of whatever it is you put your mind to achieving.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why I said, believe in yourself. It's not always easy. That's why I created this voice blueprint, to connect with others, to help them in finding and discovering and uncovering their true voice.
Yes.
So the book that I wrote, as I said, is Finding Your Voice, Unlock Your Chains, and Unleash Your Greatness. Those chains are bound up in ourselves. That's the chains that we lock ourselves in. But it's also unleashing the greatness from within and allowing me to help you do that. So it's trusting, allowing, releasing, control, unlock your chains to unleash your greatness. What I did in the book, and I really hope people are able to get the book. It went to a 4 times #1 bestseller, and I'm so grateful for that. When it was released on February 3rd of 2020, it continues to be in the bestseller category. So I'm so grateful for that. Is at the end of each chapter, I have what's called a takeaway section. And here's the book.
I love it. I love the cover. Amazing.
Newport Beach, California. It's a beach that my best friend and I used to go to. So I actually took that sundress out a few days before I went. And I knew the pose I was going to stand in, because it was a pose that my best friend had done and I had done. Well, we took pictures of each other standing on a rock, and we were like, just putting our arms up. It's like, I felt like putting my arms was finding my voice. It's like you're unlocking your chains, unleashing your greatness, and you're speaking out into the world. And in the book, as I said, after each chapter, I have what's called a takeaway section.
Oh, nice. So people can write. Yeah, that's fabulous.
And I believe in the power of the pen. I've literally left 3 to 4 line pages to write your answers.
Oh, that's great, because so often you don't get enough space.
That's why, exactly. That's exactly correct. That's why I did that. I'm like, no, I want people to be able to share them, not like one little page and write it here. It's like, wait a minute, you got things to say, you could write them in there. And that also lends itself to becoming an evergreen tool to use. So we also, often don't give ourselves enough credit, especially as women, for how far we've come, where we've come from. So
absolutely.
So this book becomes an evergreen tool in the sense that when you answer the questions on, we're doing this podcast on November 30th, 2021. So where are you now when you go through the book and you write your answers down? Then 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, 5 years later, when you answer those questions again, when you reread the book at different stages of your life, to keep it handy as an evergreen tool. And you can look back and say, oh my gosh, I remember this is where I was at this stage in my life. How would I answer that question now?
Yeah.
And, keep this book as an evergreen tool, because you're always evolving. We are always evolving as human beings, this spiritual being having a human experience, and where we've come from and where we've come to, what we've gone through and grown through is really paramount in our own journeys. And to never forget that, and to never give up, always be you, and trust and have faith and believe. And those are my takeaways, because these are things that my best friend taught me, to stand up and to use your voice and to be your own leader. And as I said, this is why I'm here. This is why I do coaching. This is why I am here, to help develop that voice from within, to be able to be the leader in your own life and to
Yeah,
use
that's
your voice.
amazing, Renee. So what legacy would you like to leave? Like, how would you like to be remembered?
Vessel with a voice.
Yes,
I am not here about me. I'm here for others. I needed to first be there for myself, but to
yes,
give and to serve and to share. And the legacy, my dad, he transitioned in December of 2018. Is very much about Tikkun Olam, it means repair the world. And I know I can't do it by myself. So
yeah,
I'm here to lock arms with those ready to join me in this movement to help repair the world, to lift others up and to share our voices. And that's what it's about, to be you, be authentic. We hear that word authenticity, but it's really important to not let others to lead you through your life, but to lead your life as you desire, to
yes,
be who you
absolutely,
are.
for sure. So thank you so much for joining us. So if people would like to connect with you, what are the best platforms to do so?
I am on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on, well, I'm also on WhatsApp. I'm on Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram page, then you can see the link tree there. So it's Reisch_Renee. My calendar link is on my link tree. Connect with me there. As I said, on Facebook. I'm very accessible, and I
Yes,
really would love to offer a 30-minute complimentary coaching. I also have a free ebook that you could download, the 10 steps in finding your voice, that you can go to my link tree on Instagram and take advantage of that. But also really also take advantage of the 30-minute complimentary coaching. If you're someone who is looking for that, I would love to connect and share our voices together and be able to serve and support you along your journey in finding your voice, as my best friend was and always will be there for me as I am finding mine and helping you.
thank you so much, Renee. So hopefully we can have you back in the future to see where you are in your journey. We look forward to catching up in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen, for this opportunity.